When you have extreme fear, you will also have extreme happiness. When you have extreme happiness, you have extreme fear. Because they're two sides of a coin. And the reason for that is this. When you get a gift, when someone compliments you, when you're going on a trip, when you get some food that you like, when you go shopping, when you go see a movie, when you, anything that you get or receive, and you're extremely happy about it, and you jump up and down, and you scream and you jump. For comedic reasons, it's fine. It's fine, because it's entertaining. But if you really feel like that deep down inside, where when you get something or you're doing something, you're extremely happy, it's actually a very bad sign. Very, very bad sign. And especially if you're very jumpy about it, and you'll sacrifice yourself, you'll sacrifice friends, you'll sacrifice people, you'll sacrifice your purpose, you'll sacrifice your job, you'll sacrifice your commitments. Everything you sacrifice in order that you're happy, and you become irresponsible. Because I've met many people like that in my life. And you're very, very happy is a very bad sign. And I'll explain why. Without getting into very deep details, when you're happy about shopping, when you're happy about getting gifts, when you're happy about meeting someone, when you're happy about doing something, it's not a normal happiness. It's a happiness that deep down inside you're totally excited to the point where you can sacrifice everything. That kind of happiness is very dangerous. It's dangerous for us, it's dangerous for others, it's dangerous for everyone long term. And the reason for that is, A, we have a very strong conceptual projection that outer items is what creates our happiness. So we have a very strong projection that if I have this, if I have a reputation, if I have gift, if I have material things, if I have this person, if I have this situation, if I go here, I will be very happy. Consequently, these type of people become very depressed and very unhappy. And they actually are not able to function to their potential because they keep holding on that outer circumstances, let's make it simple, phenomenon, outer material objects make them very, very happy. And therefore, when those items are taken away, or when that thing is not fulfilled, they become very unhappy. And they become very depressed and very sad and very angry. Some, not all, immediately. And the reason is because if those items brought us happiness, the more we have, the happier we should become. And if those were the cause of our happiness, once we get those, it should be something that makes us happy to this level. But when that's taken away, it shouldn't revert back. So if it's something that really makes us happy, then when we get it, it makes us happy. Even if it doesn't go up, it shouldn't go down. So if that object is the real cause of us being happy, every time we get it, we become happier, 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 happier. So when all these things are taken away, we still remain here. Like in meditation, like in Dharma, like in compassion. When you develop those qualities, the more you develop, even the object of it creating or making the causes for you to develop that is taken away. Example, your Guru dies. You still remain at that level of happiness. Example, Lord Buddha's Guru died. But Lord Buddha is still enlightened. It doesn't take away from his enlightenment. Lama Tsongkhapa, Milarepa. Their gurus all died. Their caves were taken away. You know, Tibet was taken away from a lot of great masters. But you don't see any great masters there. And they can't fake it. You know, they really can't fake it. Because when they talk, they express, it's a human feeling where we watch them say, hey, they're happy. And they're not bitter against their country being lost. They're sad, but they're not bitter or unhappy. So, if outer things really made us happy, then the more we get, the happier we become. And the more we have, the happier we become. In most cases, not in all, depends on our karma and situation. If we have a relationship, 1 year after another year after year, we become happier, 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 happier. And in 80%, 85% of the case is not the case. And in fact, you think, well, why do people live together their whole life? It's not that they're happy living together. They're unhappy. They've gotten used to it. They're not as good looking anymore. They're not as fresh anymore. And it's not easy to go out there and start all over again. So they just stay with that person. And then when they're very old, when they have no one to depend on, when they're just there, and that's it, and they're used to the person, they know what's bad, what's good, and they can deal with it now. Then they call that happiness, and I love the person. But actually, people don't get used to each other. But when they're just very old, they depend, they need each other. It's a need. Then they stay with each other, they say they're happy. Most times. I've seen a few exceptional cases, of course. Look at ourselves. Look at the clothes we wear. When we first get our clothes, how excited are we? And after a while, how do we feel? When we get a new piece of jewelry. When we go on a trip. When we meet a new friend. And for some people, it's very obvious. When they meet someone new that they feel that this could be the it person. After a few days, after a week, after a few weeks, they get disgusted. Why? Their whole projection was this person's everything they think it will be. So actually, these type of people, I met quite a few in my life. Quite a few. And when I read Dharma, when I was reading about Dharma, things about the mind and attachment, and I see some teachings, they match perfectly. Because our teachers are very good at giving examples. They don't give you worldly examples because they haven't really been out in the world, But they give you examples that are like in Tibet or in India, but you go, oh, it matches exactly. Look at us with inanimate objects. Inanimate objects and animate objects both bring us unhappiness and pain. Inanimate objects bring us unhappiness because we're the type of people that need to be entertained. We need to find excitement. We need to find something to jolt our brains. So jewelry, clothes, cars, after a while we get bored. And when we see new things, we get even more bored with what we have. And that if we have this, we'll be more happy. Why do you think the advertising world makes billions of dollars? Because they play on this projection. That's all it is. They play on this projection. It is so real. Now, of course, nobody knows it on that deep level. And on animate objects, such as pets, such as people, such as parties, all that stuff. Discos, we go there with a projection. I look good. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to attract. And for some reason, if we don't attract, we're not the center of attention, or the people we attract is not what we like. We go home very depressed. And we feel all the preparation, because most of us will go out, we prepare a week ahead. We diet, get a haircut, we want to look good. I know some people go for facials, I've heard, and they really want to look good. So when they go there, they don't get what they want. All this effort, it falls flat on their face, they get depressed. So a lot of these people usually blame their depression on everybody else, everything else. Everyone's at fault. Everything on the outside is at fault. Everything surrounding them is at fault. Everything is at fault, and therefore they get depressed. And these are people who have not heard the real situation behind why we are unhappy. So how do you check a person who has great attachment? To what? I'm not talking about outer things. Outer things being attached to people and items is just a symptom. But the real attachment is to ourselves. People who are very excited about getting new things, about going to new places, meeting new people, everything, getting material items, they're jumping up and down, they're very excited. These people actually are very selfish people. If you look at them closely and you examine them closely, they're extremely selfish people. And that type of selfishness, why is that? Because they're happy, they got something, I've got something. And they can't control it, they can't contain it. And these type of people fall the opposite end. They go into the deepest depression, or, for some, the gentler ones. The rough ones, they get very angry. They can become violent. They can beat up on their wives. They can run out and scream at people, or they can even become twisted and trick people and lie. They can vent their angers out on the whole world and everybody around them. And then this anger, this trickery, and this kind of deception grows. And when it grows, it becomes a habit, and they become a very angry person. And they get angry with anything and everything. Or the people who get depressed, they're always depressed. They get depressed at a drop of a hat. And the people who are twisted, they want to lie, they want to twist things around, they want to cover, they do that even more. And so this becomes a habit, and it grows and grows and grows. And the indicator for that, the indicator is how these people's minds jump up and down. When they get something, when they have something, they're very happy. Very. Some can't even control themselves. They're screaming away because they're so happy. And those people, you look at them, you don't think they're bad or good, is an indicator of their mind. So for a person that's trained, what you actually think is, oh, now I know their mind. The same type of mind, the person can be very subtle about it. They may not jump up and down about getting something. They may not get overtly depressed or angry about not getting something. There's another type of mind where these people actually are very attached to what they have, and they're very attached to what they should have. And if they have this, they have a sense of security, they have a sense of happiness, they have a sense of well-being, and they sense that everything will be all right. These people suffer much more than the first type that I talked about. Because why? Their type of suffering they hide, and they don't show you. Suffering is suffering. And these type of people are how they are very quiet about their personal life. They're very quiet about their job. They're very quiet and secretive about their plans. They're quiet and they're very secretive about their love life. They're very quiet and they're very secretive about their finances. They're very quiet and they're very secretive about everything having to do with them. And they project an aura of simplicity. They don't have renunciation, non-attachment. They project that. They project it. But when you know them better, when you examine their mind, the signs of their mind are very different. Why? Their attachment to themselves are as strong as everybody else. But their manifestation of it is different. Being quiet about getting or having something, and you think that object makes you happy. Just you're quiet about it doesn't mean you're less intense. And those people who expend a lot of energy hiding, masking, and covering this, they burn out more fuel. Therefore, these people are more likely to suffer, commit suicide, go insane, or go crazy. And I've met many people like that. I've met people, and the most predominant I've met is people who have money. Because I have to counsel these people a lot. Quite a lot. I've met a lot of people who've lost 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars. Million. And they have every right to be depressed and unhappy. But they're the same people that always tell you they don't have. They're the same people that is very stingy to help or to share or to give. And then when they come for you for divination, they come to talk to you, you find out they have astronomical amounts that they have lost. And then when they come to you, the door is closed. They're alone. They cry. They're shaking, but it's very quiet because they don't want people to know. But they can't help. I've met many people. And those type of people come in two categories. The ones that show off, that flaunt their wealth, but they don't want to share. Or they flaunt and share. That's one type. Another type is they don't flaunt at all, but they don't share. And there's another type that does share, that doesn't flaunt, but they still are very attached to that. And those people suffer tremendously. You cannot see the type. I've seen very beautiful, educated, sophisticated ladies. When they're walking outside, they're really dressed. Wow. When they walk into your room, and the minute the doors close, they cannot stop crying. They won't show anymore because they lost this much on the stock market. They lost this. You're like, you lost 15 million? And I'm not talking about pesos or rupiah. Okay, I'm talking about $1 million. I'm like, 15 million? And I've met someone who lost 60 million. 60. But they recovered about 2/3 of it. He did some divination stuff. They recovered very fast. But the rest, I said, no, not all. And I'm not talking from out of the sky. I'm not talking from I listen to the Dharma and I'm pulling examples out of a hat to make it realistic. I've met these people, but I've learned this way before in the matches. And so what I'm trying to say is, people who are very excited about what they have, and they're jumping up and down. And people, they're prone to depression, they're prone to attacks, anxiety attacks, they're prone to fear, and a lot of not wanting to do more because they're afraid to lose. So these type of people are actually extroverted introverts, meaning they look extrovert, they look very happy, they look outgoing, but actually if you put them in a situation with a group, they have to perform, be themselves. It goes up. Why? It's not that they're bad people. It's because they know that they've been disappointed by many things in the past. But they have to understand that the disappointment doesn't come from something outward. It comes from their own projection that if I have this, if I have that, I have that, I have this, I have that, I'll be happy. And you see what's the problem with this is, then you say, well, why do Buddhist practitioners have this, the monasteries have this? Having something and the motive behind it is very different. Having it to live and to be a benefit to others and to use it for others, as opposed to having it and hoarding it and saying, I'm happy, is a huge difference. The karma that's created is different, so the karma explodes. And the result will be different. Why? The whole reason you're holding, the whole mode of having something is different. Similarly, the quiet types who hoard or want or grasp or are stingy or unsharing or sharing doesn't have, but they're quiet about it. They don't jump up and down when they get something. They're very quiet. Those people go into very deep anxiety attacks, extreme cases such as suicide, and I've heard them say that. And some do it. Try it. Those types are very extreme. Why? Because they expend more energy hiding their attachment as opposed to the other person who just uses their energy for attachment but doesn't hide it. And so those people are the same as anybody else. The bottom line is this. All of us in samsara are the same. How we manifest our samsara is different. But it comes from what? Listen very careful. All of us, every person in this room and on this planet, every person, it comes from thinking that outer items is the cause of our happiness, and not realizing that when outer items are taken away, we suffer. And that's not believing or understanding impermanence and the nature of impermanence. That's why in the Four Noble Truths, Lord Buddha says, all things that live or all things that are born must die. We must understand the fundamental truth. And that's one line. It's very good. It's very simple. But when we actually meditate on it in detail, with examples over and over, you will see what happened. Your attachment to a lot of things on the outside will become less. That doesn't mean you can't have. That's what you need to understand. That does not mean you cannot have. It means that it doesn't make you unhappy.